To Godzilla's Kaiju Lounge. Today I want to talk about Rigo and Riga and a misconception I'm seeing in the kaiju community that these are rip-offs of Godzilla. Every time see these films mentioned on Facebook, it's always rip-off, rip-off, rip-off. No, not actually, not if you know the history, which I'll get into in a minute. Now, I will concede and agree fully. The cover art and the new titles given to the films by the distributors, yeah, those are ripoff. This very, very strongly invokes the Godzilla King of the Monsters movie poster. And this very strongly invokes Godzilla King of the Monsters promotional art, although there are some elements where Rega reminds me of Nemesis from the Jeremy Robinson books. However, that's not on the filmmaker. I need to give you a little history before I get into these films. I'm sure most of you that watch my kaiju content are familiar with Gamera the Revenge of Iris and the major cliffhanger that ended on. Well, there was a Japanese comedian. I'm not going to butcher his name, so picture and name should pop up right about here. Anyway, he was dissatisfied too, only he decided, I'm going to do something about this, so he funded a fan sequel, Gamera 4 Truth, I believe it was called, that was supposedly pretty good. Now, if it's really pretty good, why Daiei just doesn't distribute it? Gamera is their intellectual property. I don't know how Japanese copyrights work, but if they got a free movie dumped in their lap that's actually good, they should make money off of it. All profits are 100% at this point almost, minus maybe video distribution, but I digress. Anyway, after that happened, he decided, you know what? I'm going to make my own kaiju films that I can distribute freely, that I will own the rights to. And first he did. By the way, now I'm going to get into some of the name debacles. First he did Rego, which is not Rego King of the Sea Monsters. The proper title is Deep Sea Monster Rego versus the Battleship Yamato. I don't remember the proper name for Riga. But again, they were given new titles to cash in on Godzilla King of the Monsters. So again, the new titles and cover arts are quite literally the only thing in these that are Godzilla ripoffs. These films, although I'm sure Godzilla inspiration played a part, it was not someone who set out to rip off Godzilla. They were made by a super fan who wanted to correct a cliffhanger that will never be resolved, and then decided to make his own movies that he owned the rights to. You could argue that by the same token, I'm sure, and don't come at me in the comment section, this is just an example, I'm sure a film historian could play a convincing argument that the original Godzilla is a beast from 20,000 Fathoms ripoff. Again, I'm not saying that, but I'm just making a point. So, at the end of the day, no, these are not ripoffs. There may be inspiration, but Rigo and Riga, or Rego and Riga, they're their own thing. They're not a wannabe Godzilla. And from what I understand, again, because I haven't seen the movie, there's comedic elements to these, and it's clear a comedian directed them. That being said, well, I got nothing else much. I just wanted to talk about the misconception I'm seeing in this community, and help get some of the history behind the films out. I mean, even the back of the film is misleading because they both say copyright 2019, and these films came out a few years ago, so that doesn't help either. But anyway, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Over and out. One more thing I forgot to say, and I'm just talking to my kaiju fans here because non kaiju fans likely aren't going to buy these. If you're on the fence about buying these, but like me, you do like to collect kaiju movies, they're pretty cheap now. And they're in circulation, and I'd say get them before they go out of print because you can get these for $10 a piece, and I just want to add that on that get them now while they're cheap because you know as well as I do when they're out of print you're liable to see these going for 100 or more a piece. So well, that's just because I forgot to say this earlier in the video, so you know what I said to do at the end of the video. Over and out.